tribe member. Lori is one of our tribe members, and she is the only one of our ivory skinned tribe members. So, and she doesn't feel out of place. She's been somebody who has been trailing the tribe. She's read almost a book by every member of the tribe, come to the cavalcade, traveled between work, brought her husband with her to the cavalcade. And she said, before I come to the cavalcade, I want to read a book by every person that is in the, and she did. She bought a book and read it and reviewed it before she showed up to the cavalcade. It was wonderful. And she is now part of the tribe, as well as she's writing a book in the series. So I'm going to bring Lori on because she's going to bring on our next guest. Lori, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. All right now.
Okay. Well, hello, everyone. It is such an honor to be here among such greatness. Like, I am fangirling here because you are all so fabulous, and I have some catching up to do on some reading because there's more tribe members and there's more in the cavalcade, and but you guys have kept me busy and in my fantasy world. So I'm super excited. Now you've already met my guest. She just did a wonderful reading for us, Miss Siera London. And so I'll tell you a little bit about her, and then we'll dive right into to have some questions, because I have lots of questions. So Siera London, who you just heard from, is a USA Today Bestselling author and award-winning author of contemporary and paranormal romance, romantic suspense, and crime fiction. She crafts stories of diverse characters navigating the challenges and triumphs to find lasting love. Intelligence, wit, emotion, drama, and romance are between the covers of every Siera London novel. In Virginia with her husband, and she has a color patch tabby named Fry. Did I get that right?
Free, like Brie, the cheese.
Free. Okay, excellent. Free. And I loved reading that you had to convince your husband to get Free, and you'd have many more cats, because that's my story too. So we have a lot in common in that way. Her most recent book that was published earlier this year in April is from her Lunchtime Chronicles called Mo. And I'm super excited to dive into the Lunchtime Chronicles, and I've got lots of questions for you today, Siera. So welcome again.
Ready.
Excellent. So in learning more about you and your books, you have a lot of series. Now we heard just from your paranormal fairy tale series, and then the Lunchtime Chronicles. So tell me a little bit, about your writing journey and how you got into writing these awesome series.
Okay, so I have been writing since 2012, so I'm kind of late to the game, compared to a lot of the panelists. But I've always been an avid romance reader. You saw already that my husband's active duty military. I used to be in the military. I'm a pediatric nurse practitioner by trade. And so I would read to relax. I work, 4 or 5 days in a row in a newborn nursery, saving babies and looking over mamas too. And I would read to relax. I would always have a romance book in my pocket. If I got really, really stressed, read a hot scene, calm down, and go back to work. And and I always wanted to write. I had been talking about writing for like 20 years. My husband bought me pens, papers, notebooks, recorders, and I had done nothing. And when I got ready to retire, I was thinking about what I wanted to do next. Did I want to practice, or, what was next? Did I want to work full-time or part-time? And my husband said, when are you going to write these books you keep talking about? And I was like, oh yeah, I could do that. And so I started writing my debut series, The Bachelors of Shell Cove, and the cover is behind me. Look, I can't tell which way I'm pointing, right there, Chasing Ava. So that was my first book. And in some ways it is a medically based romance because the hero is a doctor and Ava is a nurse. She's a pediatric nurse, just like me. And it's, at the time, It was what was hot, and that was Grey's Anatomy. If anybody remembers Grey's Anatomy. So The Bachelors of Shelf Cove is like Grey's Anatomy meets the have and have not. So it's high drama in a hospital. Think about your soap operas. If you like soap operas in the hospital, always something going on, right? And old money, big families. And it revolves around four friends. You have Ava, Lena, Jana, and Rebecca. And it's a diverse series. Not the first book is interracial romance, but there's AA romance in there and mainstream because that's the world we live in, right? And so I wanted that reflected in my debut series. And I absolutely love The Bachelors of Shell Cove. There's 4 books available now, and the 5th book, the final book in the series, Consuming Logan, actually comes out on December 2nd, and it's on pre-order already. And it's the culmination of Ava and Logan's journey. They fought hard to get here, and it was difficult for me to let them go, but I finally did it. So already on pre-order, and it comes out on December 2nd. I'm really excited about it.
Excellent. I know you just had your cover release for that yesterday, so that is
Yes.
fantastic. Congratulations on that. So that leads me to my next question then. So I have a love-hate relationship with series because I get so invested in them. Just like when you watch, for instance, Grey's Anatomy, right? You never want it to end because you've like been with these people from the time they started their career to when they retire, and you just never want it to end. So as an author, how do you get to that point where you're like, okay, it's time to wrap up the series? How do you know that this is it?
Yeah. So, like you, I struggled quite a bit. But these characters have been with me. I have 6 series, I believe. But these characters, my debut characters, Ava, Logan, Lena, Jana, they've been with me from the beginning. And they actually, they color each one of the series. I still hear their voices. But as I have gotten better at writing, as I've expanded my mind in my own abilities and what I can bring to the table as a writer, I've gotten to the point where I am ready to let them go. I'm ready to move on from that world. The world has changed a lot since Ava and Logan were born, and I'm ready to tackle new topics. Um, the Bachelors of Shell Cove deals a lot with women who are broken, but who are bruised, but not totally broken. I would say bruised. And so those heroines in that book, they start in a very low place, and they really have to fight hard. The men who love them really have to come alongside them where they are, and they both get stronger together. So these heroines sometimes in that series, they might not be the ones that have it all together. You see them at their messiest, and you grow to love them through that. You can relate to their journeys. They're definitely everyday women. And so I'm tackling different subjects now in my book, different themes. So that's how I've learned to let it go.
Excellent, excellent. Still don't like it though. I still want to know what's going to happen when they have kids and then their grandparents, and I want to know all the things. I get so invested.
Yeah, that's all in there. In Consuming Logan,
good.
You get to see all that, and the grandparents act out.
So I'm gonna have to. So I have time to catch up in the series then, because by the time I'm ready, then the next one will be out.
That's right.
So you have multiple series, as you said. The one that probably caught my eyes the most, well, except for now that I know about your Supernatural series, because I'm a total Supernatural junkie. But that's a good, elite it. So you have the Lunchtime Chronicles. That's what really that caught my eye, because I love spicy stuff, and Lunchtime Chronicles is just like fun on lunchtime.
Yeah.
And then you have your Supernatural series and multiple other series. And then again, wrapping up with the one that we just discussed, how do you keep them all straight? Because you've written a record number of books, 25 books in 5 years. So how do you keep your head straight when you're bouncing between these worlds that you're creating and developing these stories?
Well, I think, all right, I'll just speak for me. but I don't get my kids mixed up. So I don't get my characters mixed up. I mean, my characters are just that distinct in my head. You know, like now that I met you, Lori, like I won't get you mixed up with Sylvia Day. Like I know you. So and so my characters are kind of the same way in my head. They don't have the same voice, they don't live the same places, they don't tell the same stories, and they don't have the same interests. So that's how I keep them straight in my head. And you mentioned the Lunchtime Chronicles.
Mhm.
So on my writing journey, I've done 8 group projects. And after, you know, you learn a lot working with other authors. You learn what you like, and you learn, you know, things that you would want to improve. And so the Lunchtime Project, the Lunchtime Chronicles is the first project where I'm actually the lead in it. And it's a multi-author erotic romance serial that I've done with, I think, 9 other authors total I've invited to be in the Lunchtime Chronicles. We're actually in season 3, which launches next Wednesday. And it's an erotic romance serial based around a fictitious gossip columnist. Okay, her name is Messy Mandy. There's Mandy on my cup right there. And Mandy talks hot mess all day, every day. And she leaks, well, I shouldn't say leak, but she spills all the tea on everybody's business except her own.
Okay, could you put the cup up one more time, because I was sharing the image
Oh,
of the
oh,
Oh.
yeah. Yeah, so that's Mandy right there. Yeah, so that's Mandy. And so all the stories revolve around lunchtime and some very hot guy. That's usually what you're going to see on the cover, some very hot guy. And the stories are quick and fast and fun. And a new book comes out every Wednesday for 10 weeks. And like I said, we're in season 3. Season 3 starts on Wednesday. So there's 16 of books available in the Lunchtime Chronicle series. And we have 10 more that are coming this season starting Wednesday. And every book has hit #1, Amazon bestseller. It has been a great project. And this season, I'm working with Posey Parks, author El Loren, Keita Kendrick, and Sonja B. And they've been amazing to work with. And finally, Messy Mandy gets her own romance. So I'm interested to see what happens between her and Diesel on the page, because she could get, you know, pretty raunchy.
Messy. Raunchy. Excellent. Very good. So I love how you talk about how you've evolved as an author. And as somebody that's a brand new author myself, and I'm just learning, oh my goodness, all of the things about it. What is a piece of advice that you could give to somebody that's just starting out to get to the level that you're at, where you're so confident in being able to write all of these wonderful stories?
Mhm. Wow, that's a hard question. But the first thing that comes to mind is be open to learning from others. Accept that you don't know everything, and that there's always room for improvement, whether that's in your writing, in your covers, in your marketing, in your brand building. You know, Lisa and I met some years ago, and we have challenged one another to grow in different areas, and our relationship has been synergistic. You know, we both have grown, we've benefited, plugging into the tribe, plugging into other groups. um, but don't be afraid to admit that you need help. I would say keep that on the forefront of your mind. If you see an author that is doing something you want to do, or they do it better, don't be afraid to reach out, drop them a message, and ask for help, ask for advice. That's what I've found that's been the most beneficial to me. Always being open and not thinking that I know everything and I'm the best at everything. I'm good at what I do,
Mhm.
but I can always be better.
Yeah,
So,
excellent.
yeah,
Thank
that's what
you.
I would say.
That's awesome. I know that there's lots of us out there that read and think of, we all have these stories in the back of our mind, and we're like, boy, if I could just put this to paper. And then it's amazing to watch somebody like you who's had such success in a long time. I love your covers. Your work is beautiful. I cannot wait to dive into these series. I feel like it's going to keep me busy for a very long time. So thank you for all of the hard work and beautiful stories that you put out there for all of us. Um,
Thank you.
I'd like to tell everybody how we can find you.
Sure. Okay. So I spend most of my time on Facebook. Y'all, I'm over 50, so I'm trying to get better at Instagram. Okay. I haven't even ventured into TikTok, but I'm on Twitter sometimes. But the minute I see some mess on there, I jump off. So find me on Facebook, Siera London Starlets. That's my reader group. I'm very active in there. I always say good morning because I'm so happy to see you all and know that you're okay. So say good morning back. That's how I know that you're okay. And I have 3 books coming out in the next 60 days. So 2 in the Lunchtime Chronicles series and Consuming Logan. So follow me and grab my books and connect.
Thank you so much, Sierra. I know I have recently joined your Facebook group thanks to an invitation on you, and you are very engaged with your audience and your readers, and it's awesome to see because it makes me want to read more.
Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate you all.
Very good.
Indeed, indeed. Sierra, are you going to stick around, or you want to be in the audience, or are you going to pop in and out? How do you?
Yeah, I'll be in the audience. That's fine.
Okay. Well, we're going to hang you here as a tribe member because now you're a tribe member. First, you're host, your guest. Now you're back to being a tribe member. She's one of our tribe members. So we're going to switch it up into Lori. And I think because your work for the Night of Birmingham is still in editing. Marze has it right now, but I want to show everybody what you are up to. There, Night of Birmingham, book 8 of the Knights of the Castle series. Yes, so want to kind of talk to you about your journey in writing. So tribe members are going to have questions. I'm going to unmute all of the tribe members to throw questions at you because of your process, because you fell into this. You weren't looking for us. We came looking for you. So how has it been with this process and this journey as a new tribe member?
Well, first, I think, in just my history personally, I've never had a tribe before. And so it's also new for me to see like how you are all so interconnected. And I'll tell you, I first learned of the whole tribe thing when I read the Kings of the Castle series. And one of the things I think I said in almost every review I posted for all of the books was how amazing it was that it felt like you were reading the book written by one author, but it was written by multiple authors, and you couldn't even tell. The stories all just flowed so wonderfully. And I didn't understand how that all worked until I became a part of the tribe. And I mean, it's truly amazing what you've put together, Lisa, and all of the authors that are on the tribe. I'm still trying to understand like where I fit and how to leverage all of the greatness that's in there. So as far as the process, I think we're in the editing phase now. I wrote the book, and then Lisa's like, nope, you got to do this, and then I rewrote the book, and then it was still not quite there, and so now Marze I'm learning from, and she's walking me through things that I didn't even consider. As it's interesting to go from a reader's perspective, diving into the series as a writer. You think that I've read all of these books, I should easily be able to put this down, and it's not as simple as that. So it's been a wonderful opportunity to learn, to dive into what I'm capable of, and to learn to leverage the support of all of the great authors that are a part of this group.
Indeed, indeed. What has been the hardest part of this journey for you?
Overthinking. Lisa's like, don't overthink it. But I think because I have come from a place where I've read all of the books and now almost all of the Knights that have been released to date, then I keep going back to thinking, oh no, I need to add this, or I need to do that, and not been able to focus on the whole story and just letting the words flow because I'm worried about what I'm missing in there. So I think jumping into something where there's so many people writing that have had the experience in there, even though there's a number of new authors in the Knight series, I felt like I was definitely overthinking it. And once I got that out of my head, the second version of it flowed so much easier because I was able to develop the story and not worry about whether or not I was, pulling in what I was supposed to.
Right. And here's the thing, your character in Night of Birmingham is very much based on your real life experiences, because what is your, as they say, what is your day job?
So my day job is I'm in sales. So
that one, but I mean the other, I'm sorry, the other day job, the other thing that you do, the advocate.
Oh, so I'm I'm very passionate about racial reconciliation. So I work closely with my church in helping, making sure that people are safe while they're out protesting a lot of the things that have happened. I live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, so I'm sure you've heard it in the news. All of the terrible things that are happening to people by law enforcement in this state. And I'm very passionate about trying to create a better world for people of color, especially women who are definitely marginalized and deserve to have the same privileges that I have as a white woman. So that is a passion of mine, and that is definitely intertwined in my story. Because I'm still learning, and I'm working to earn my ally ally title. It's a work in progress every day. I know it's not something that I can claim myself. So I'm very passionate about making the world a better place for all of you, and making sure that my kids are equipped to hopefully make their generation better for all of our littles that are out there now, and they hopefully don't have to go through many of the experiences that you guys have if we continue to do the work that we're doing today.
That is awesome. I mean, I forget that you're in sales, because to me, what you do as your passion to me is the day job. I forget about the sales portion of it. So you did answer the question correctly. Well, I'm in sales, but I don't even remember that. And that's what takes you all over the places and traveling. But when you talked about advocating even for women in prison, to make sure that they're reunited with their children, that sort of thing, I fell in love with you, with your passion with that. Like, just, I'm passionate about writing and this literary thing, and you're equally as passionate about what you do in that, racial reconciliation. Let's see here. Who said, I'm loving the story of Megan? Who's got to read? Oh, that's Marseille. I'm loving the story so far. I love Megan. I'm like, who's got the book already? That's your initial editor. But there's Deanna McNeil, I'm sorry, Michelle Sims and Anita, they both have questions for you. So go ahead and throw them out there.
Well, I was wondering what inspired the night of Birmingham. Was there a particular thing that happened, or what was the inspiration for the story?
So a good friend of mine, and she's named in the book, is Candace, is currently serving time for a crime that I don't think that she should be in prison for. And she's separated from her daughters, who thankfully she has a great family system. So her children are well taken care of, but she is one of the most amazing women that I know, strong and resilient, and does not deserve the time that she was given for what I don't believe was a crime. And so that is the theme of the night of Birmingham. Megan she's my heroine, I guess you could say, and she is working to help make the world a better place for women when they get out of prison. Because I'm learning a lot about, through writing with my friend Candace while she's in and what she wants to accomplish when she gets out. Because she's not looking at this like it's setting her life back. She's looking at this as how I can what can I do when I get out to make sure that the women that are in are not treated the way that they are now. And so, I want that too. I think a lot of people that are in her position that are in prison, especially women of color, were given sentences that were not equal to whatever they say the crime was. Definitely my inspiration for the storyline behind this.
Fantastic. I'm looking forward to reading it.
How much research have you put in this project?
So Marze will tell you that I need to do more research. A lot of it was just off of the top of my head. Interestingly, going back through it a third time, I lived in Alabama for 9 years, and that's how Birmingham came out. And so I had to go back and down to where my office was for the nonprofit that Megan runs. I realized that, she can't possibly have this office on that street in the city of Birmingham, to what the streets look like. And then as far as the prison system, I don't dive into too much detail in what they're going through. A lot of it's just based on experiential stuff from what I've heard. There's some places in there that I've researched. I researched what the jobs were of some of the people in there to make sure that I was accurately reflecting them. For instance, I was calling one character a district attorney, and then I realized what he was actually doing wasn't under the title of district attorney. It was more a prosecutor. So I had to make him a prosecutor instead of a district attorney. And so I think every time I go back through it, I'm realizing that I need to dive a little bit deeper to make sure that it's more of an accurate representation of what I'm saying it is versus what it was. But I did do a lot of research for like decor, especially for the part of it that's based in outside of Dubai and Arabia. So there's some research that I did there because I wanted to make sure that the decor and everything was aligned. It wasn't like, my style, which is nothing like what would be reflected in, a different space.
Lori, I got a quick question.
Yeah.
Do you have one way of approaching the novel writing process, or was it kind of like a population of a few different disciplines?
So I didn't know what I should do. Lisa initially is like, just start writing. And then there's different models, like I didn't outline it or anything. I really just tried to figure out what I wanted the story to be and then just started typing. And so the first version of my book was all me literally telling a story, like with very minimal dialogue in there. It was all just like one huge long narrative. Like if I were to sit here and read you, or like I was telling a story to my kid. So I had to learn how to go back in there and add the dialogue in there and actually make it so that it was readable. To me, it was readable because I was reading it in my head how I want to hear it. But then when Lisa and Marze got it, they're like, no, it needs to be like this because like you might understand who's talking to who, but but I have no clue. So
got it. Thank you.
Yeah, and Radia, I am here. I actually volunteered at your book. I forget what it was called, but you have a book seminar or something every year, and I volunteered at it a few years ago. That's where I first met Lisa in person.
Indeed. Okay. So we're actually going to wrap this up. Everybody in the links for her giveaway, Lori's giveaway is in the chat. So make sure you click on that and follow her on all of her platforms. We very much appreciate that. We see everybody is coming on in. Brenda Jackson just joined us. Kathy Douglas has just joined us, and they're going to be speaking with us a little later today. Brenda will, I think, in a couple of hours. Let's see here. The person that comes up next will be Laverne Thompson. I'm going to ask you to unmute. Hold on for a second. Okay, we got that. And